श्रीनिवासेति श्रेष्ठया पात्रं गुणान्वितः कुरुषिकोन्तरङ्गाख्यः चिरं विजेतां भुवि यस्तात्मीयवरं वरप्रदगुरो वैराग्यभाग्यो वेदान्तामृतमनघात श्रीनिवासात्पुरोः श्रीशैलान्वयकौस्तुभस्तिनिं श्रेयोनिधे श्रीनिधेः देशाविकटाक्षशेणिर्नियं श्रीकृष्णसद्देशिकं श्रीनारायणयोगीन्द्रवर्गार्कृपाश्रयम् रङ्गेशपादविनतं श्रीनिवासमुनिं भजे व्यासं वसिष्ठनुक्तारं जगते पौत्रमकल्मषिम्बराशरात्मजं वन्दे सुखतातं तपोनिधिं व्यासाय नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वसिष्ठाय नमो नमः पार्थाय परिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन कृतितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीमष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीं यत्कदाम्भोरुहध्यानविध्वस्ताशेषकल्मषा वस्तुतामुपयातोऽहं यामुनेयं नमामि तं यो नित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्मव्यामोहतस्तरितराणि मेदेऽस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दैकसिन्धो रामानुजस्य चरणो शरणं प्रपद्ये श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्य कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि offering my pranamams to all the Bhagavatas in this satsanga. I shall resume the next session. We are studying the shlokas up to 28 of chapter 6 in the previous session. We shall resume from the 29th shloka of the 6th chapter of Srimad Gita Bhashya in this session. There is a preamble for the 29th shloka in the Bhashya. Atha yoga vipakadasha chatushprakara uchyate. Now the next four shlokas are very significantly commented upon by Bhashyakarar as per our Siddhanta, and it's very unique interpretation not found in any other commentary. So the four stages in which meditation attains fruition is going to be told in the next four shlokas, starting with Sarvabhutastam Atmanam Sarvabhutani Jatmani Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. From this shloka onwards. So Bhashyakarar gives a unique explanation during excellent samanvaya with the Shastrarthas as found in all the Pramanas. Known for his synthetic approach, this interpretation of Bhashyakarar is a great contribution to understanding the Bhagavad Gita. Here, Bhashyakarar establishes four modes of attainment of the vision of the individual self. Jivatma Sakshatkara, which is a necessary prerequisite to Paramatma Sakshatkara. And it is very different from the vision of the Lord, Paramatma Sakshatkara. The individual self does not have a form which can be seen, just as the Supreme Brahman, who has a divine auspicious form, Divya Mangala Vigraha, on which one can do dhyana, one can meditate upon that. But the individual self does not have a form like that. So the vision of the self is of the nature of Samadarshana or Samya Yoga, which is explained in great detail in these chapters. It is said as, earlier it was told that Brahma Samsparsham Sukham Atyantikam, which is Atmanubhava, and that has to be attained through dhyana or meditation with a pure mind. The mind becomes pure when he meditates on the divine form of the Lord. And with pranayama, asana, pratyahara, etc., he does atma chintana and gets sukhena brahma samsparsham. After doing all that, without effort, anayasena, Bhashyakarar says, gains the experience of the self. The final state of the vision is attained in four successive stages or modes as taught here by Lord Krishna. The first stage is when the self realizes similarity in the essential nature of all the individual selves. That is Atma-Atma Samya. Jnanaikakarataya Sarvatma Samya. It is not Aikya, it is Samya. The nature of all individual selves is pure consciousness, Jnanaikakara. So the form of consciousness. So all are Jnana Swarupas. Their essential nature is consciousness, which does not undergo any change at any time. The next stage, so that is the realization in the very first stage. The next stage is when the meditator realizes that the nature of individual selves, devoid of the defects of the nature of punya and papa, punya papa rupa dosha, virtues and sins, etc., is similar to even that of the Supreme Self in the aspect of being consciousness, which is pure Atma Paramatma Samya. When the dosha is completely eliminated, punya papa rupa dosha, then the nature of the individual self is similar to that of Paramatma, without any defect. The next stage is when the self realizes that all the selves, being modes of Supreme Self, Paramatma Prakara, they are similar in that they are all one with Supreme as his mode. He is the Prakari, and everything else is his Prakara. Jivatmas are all his Prakara, being his body. Paramatman being the Antaryami in all, the inner controller, all are his Prakara, and in that aspect, all are equal. So the fourth stage is when the self realizes that the joys and sorrows that are seen here are not connected to the nature of the self, in the state of being dissociated with matter, known as Asambandha Samya, or analogy of non-relation. So when a meditator on the nature of the individual self realizes this state, he is said to have attained the vision of the self, or Atma Sakshatkar. This realization comes through continuous practice, having known these truths from the Shastras through a preceptor, and then doing continuous conscious and concentrated chintana, or dhyana, or contemplation on these truths. One starts to realize the same all the time. Then, realizing the nature of the self as subservient to the Supreme, etc., he proceeds further to attain the vision of the Lord with utmost devotion. That is Bhakti Yoga, he starts. These aspects of self-realization are explained in detail in the next 4 shlokas. Swami Deshika summarizes these stages in 4 words. First one is Jnanaikakarataya Samya. All are Jnanakaras, of the nature of the form of consciousness. Second one is Nirdoshataya. When the Punya Papa is all removed, in that state they are similar to Paramatman. Brahma Tadguna Sambandhena, that is Brahman being the Antaryami in all, and every Atman being the Prakara of Paramatman. In that aspect they are all similar. The last one is Itara Asambandhena, Asambandha Samya. So these are the 4 stages. So we can now take up the shlokas in the Bhashya for the same, for study. Sarvabhutastham atmanam sarvabhutani cha atmani ikshate yogayuktatma sarvatra samadarshanaha. The Anvaya for this is Yogayuktatma atmanam sarvabhutastham sarvabhutani cha atmani sarvatra samadarshanaha ikshate. Yogayuktatma, one for whom meditation has matured. He is yukta with yoga, yoga yukta atma. Atmanam sarvabhutastham, his own self, as similar to selves in all sentients. Sarvabhutani cha atmani, all sentients. Bhuta is sentient, and so embodied souls. Sarvabhutani cha atmani, all sentients as though existing in self. Sarvatra Samadarshanaha Ikshate. He sees all sentients are equal, being of the same form of consciousness, similar or equal. A yogi for whom yoga has attained fruition sees his own self as existing in all and all selves as present in him. And so sees all sentients as similar or equal, being of the nature of consciousness. So here the Sarvabhutastham and Sarvabhutani cha Atmani has to be understood with along with the word Samadarshanaha, which is clearly told in the shloka. Sarvatra Samadarshana. The Bhashya for this is Swatmanaha Pareshancha Bhutanam Prakriti Viyukta Swarupanam Jnanaikakarataya Samyat Vaishamyasya cha Prakritigatatvat Yogayuktatma Prakriti Viyukteshu Atmasu Sarvatra Jnanaikakarataya Samadarshanaha Sarvabhutastham Swatmanam Sarvabhutani cha Swatmani Ikshate Sarvabhuta Samanakaram Swatmanam Swatma Samanakarani cha Sarvabhutani Pashyati Ityarthaha Ekasmin Atmani Drushte Sarvasya Atmavastunaha Tat Samyat Sarvam Atmavastu Drushtam Bhavati Ityarthaha Sarvatra Samadarshanaha Iti Vachanat Yoyam Yogastvaya Proktaha Samyena Madhusudana Ityanubhashanacha Nirdosham Hizamam Brahma Iti Vachanacha. That is a Bhashya. Swatmanaha Pareshancha Bhutanam Prakriti Viyukta Swarupanam Jnanaikakarataya Samyat. The Samya, essential nature, the similarity is in Jnanaikakarataya. Prakriti Viyukta Swarupanam Jnanaikakarataya. So the Swarupa of all Atmas, when it is dissociated from matter, all are similar because they are all of the nature of consciousness. And it is true for Swatmanaha Pareshancha Bhutanam. It's true for one's own self and the selves existing in all other beings. Vaishamyasya cha Prakritigatatvat. The differences are due to matter or Prakriti. And it is not in the essential nature of the Atman. Yoga Yukta Atma Prakriti Viyukteshu Atmasu Sarvatra Jnana Ekakarataya Samadarshanaha. So one who has acquired the knowledge of the essential nature of the self through meditation, Yoga Yukta Atma, sees all sentience as similar in the aspect of their nature being of the form of consciousness alone, Jnana Ekakarataya. So that is how he sees. Sarvabhutastham Swatmanam. He sees his self in all sentience. Sarvabhutastham Atman, Swatmanam. Sarvabhutani cha Swatmani. All sentience in himself. So what does this mean? How can he see himself as existing everywhere or everybody existing in himself? Every sentient, every individual self existing in himself. That is explained as Sarvabhuta Samanakaram Swatmanam Swatma Samanakarani cha Sarvabhutani Pashyati Ityarthaha. So it is not that it is the one and the same Atman existing everywhere, but they are all different. Atma Bhutva, Atma Nityatva, all these were established in very many places earlier. So it is similarity. He sees his self in all sentients. He sees all the other sentient beings in himself, meaning he sees his self as being of the same nature of consciousness, similarity. That is Samya. It is not Aikya. So as those in all embodied souls, and also the selves in all sentients as being of the same nature of consciousness as his own self. Ekasmin Atmani Drushte Sarvasya Atmavastunaha Tat Samyat Sarvam Atmavastu Drushtam Bhavati Ityarthaha. That means when the nature of oneself is known, the nature of all selves would be known due to the fact of all being similar in nature. When that is realized, that all are of the same nature of Jnanaikakara, realizing one leads to realizing all the nature of all the individual cells, and that is how he sees that everything is similar. Sarvatra Samadarshanaha iti vachanate. Yoga Yajnavalkya Smriti, it is told that he sees similarity in all. Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. Yoyam Yogastaya Proktaha Samyena iti Anubhashanacha. It is going to be told after these 4 shlokas that Arjuna asked the question, Yoyam Yogaha Tvaya Madhusudana. The Samya Yoga which you told, that realizing the similarity in all the cells, which was taught by you. Ityanubhashanacha, nirdosham hi samam brahma iti vachanacha. So the individual cells are equal when freed from the defect of association with matter. They are equal to, similar to Param Brahma, is also told. So with all these references, pramanas, Bhashyakara concludes this Bhashya. So the process of practicing yoga was taught so far. It was told that one has to meditate on the self till the bliss of the vision of the self is attained. As per the Vachana, Atmalabha Sukham Yavat, Tavat Dhyanam Udadatam. How long should one do dhyana? It is said that till one attains Atmalabha Sukha, that is the bliss of the experience of the self, the nature of the self. So now the 4 modes of the state of the perfection of Samadarshitva Yoga or Samadarshana Yoga, which gives the knowledge of perceiving all cells as equal in their essential nature, that is being told. The essential nature of individual cells is similar, while the differences or inequalities in their modes are due to the upadhi, limiting adjunct, that is karma. Due to that, they get various bodies like Deva, Manusha, etc. And there is a difference in their dharmabhuta jnana, the attributive consciousness. Whereas in the essential nature, there is no difference. They are all similar. So the word sarvabhutastham here, though indicates the sentient qualified by achit. Bhuta means it is embodied soul. Though it is a sentient being qualified by achit, that is a body, it is about the chetanamsha. It is mainly to be understood as the self who is in a body, sentient being. One who has realized the nature of the self in yoga samadhi is yoga yukta atma. That is, after doing pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and then goes to the state of samadhi. That is, the 4 stages are explained here. In that yoga samadhi, one who has realized the nature of the self is said to be yoga yukta atma, and this leads to samadarshitva. The word Atma in Sarvabhutastham Atmanam does not talk of mere self, that is Jivatman or Supreme Self. This is addressing one's own self. Sarvabhutastham Swatmanam. That is why Sarvabhutastham Atmanam means it is commented as Swatmanam, is one's own self. So it is indicated like that. And a doubt may arise here. How is the relation of Adhara Adeya, supporter and supported? It looks as though Sarva Bhutastham Swatmanam, Sarva Bhutanicha Swatmani is told like that. So how is it applicable to the individual self, the self being atomic? How can he be existing in all sentients? And how can several sentients present in different places be present in the self who is just located in one particular place? So should not the word Atma be taken to mean Paramatman is the doubt. This is answered in the Bhashya as Sarvabhuta Samanakaram. Sarvabhuta Samanakaram Swatmanam. Swatma Samanakarani cha Sarvabhutani Pashyati ityarthaha. Another doubt can also arise here. How can one who is just engaged in the contemplation of one's own self realize the similarity with all other selves. That is answered here as ekasmin atmani drushte sarvam atmavastu drushtam bhavati. When one is doing dhyana on one's own self, how can you realize similarity with other selves? So when one is seen, all our atmas, all our individual selves and all our jnanakaras, all are similar. That is, it leads to that kind of a realization. It is like this thali pulaka nyaya. When one grain of rice is, when there are innumerable members belonging to the same class, if one is known, all will be known. When one grain of rice is checked to see if it is cooked, one can know that all the grains of rice in that vessel are cooked. Similar to that. So the reference also Pramana given by Bhashyakara here. Sarvatra Samadarshana, to show that the word Sarvabhutastam, etc. are meaning Samya or similarity only. Several references from the same text also are given, whereas from previous and later sections also, from other references also. Sarvatra Samadarshana indicates perception of mutual similarity. Paraspara Samya Darshana, because this is Jivatma Yoga Prakarana. Meditation on the individual self, contemplation on the Supreme, that is Paramatmanusandhana, is not taught here. So even meditating on Paramatman, which is needed for Jivatma Yoga, is not told here, because this is about the differences in the states of Samadhi. Meditation on the divine auspicious form of the Lord, Divya Mangala Vigraha, was told earlier as a upakarana, or it's an accessory. So just like Shucho Deshe, Pratishtapya and all those Samam Kaya, Shiro Grivam and all those things were told, the Divya Mangala Vigraha Dhyana is also told as a upakarana. And after that, when he enters into the Samadhi, the state of Samadhi, it is Jivatma Sakshatkara. So here it is not Paramatma Dhyana that is told here. So even in the shloka Vidyavane Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastri etc., only Samya or similarity was told earlier. So hence there is no scope for Aikya, as it is clearly told as Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. It is Paraspara Samya, mutual similarity of individual selves only, that is intended here. So that is explained from, that is known from the Tatparya Chandrika of Swami Desha. Proceeding further, Shloka 30. Yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvancha mai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sachamena pranashyati. Yaha sarvatra mam pashyati mai sarvancha pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sachamena pranashyati. A yogi who is similar, who sees similarity in nature with me, yaha sarvatra mam pashyati, means who sees similarity in nature with me in all sentients, mai sarvancha pashyati, and sees in me similarity in nature with all sentients. It's also given another meaning which you will see later. Tasyaham na pranashyami, for such a yogi I will not be unseeable. Sachamena pranashyati, he will also not be out of my sight. That is a simple meaning. Yogi sees similarity in nature in all the sentients with me. That means he will always be seeing that me, that is, I will not become unseeable for him. And at the same time, he will also not be unseeable to me. The meaning of this explained, we can understand only from the Bhashya in detail. Tato vipakadashapanno mama sadharmyam upagataha niranjanaha paramam samyam upaiti iti uchyamanam sarvasya atmavastuno vidhuta punyapapasya swarupena avasthitasya matsamyam pashyan yaha sarvatra atmavastuni mam pashyati sarvam atmavastu cha mai pashyati anyonya samyat anyatara darshanena अन्यतरदपि ईदृशम् इति पश्यति तस्य स्वात्मस्वरूपं पश्यतः अहं तत्साम्यात् न प्रणश्यामि न अदर्शनम् उपयामि मयि अपि मां पश्यतः मत्साम्यात् स्वात्मानं मत्समम् अवलोकयन् सः न अदर्शनम् उपयाति. These four shlokas, Bhashyas, are to be understood little carefully. Tato vipakadashapanno mama sadharmyam upagataha. So one who has reached tataha vipakadasha apannaha. Compared to the previous state, he has attained a much more advanced state of meditation, a higher state than the previous one. Seeing similarity of all individual cells in their essential nature. So he sees, with me, mama sadharmyam. Sadharmya is dharma in dharma, that is in the attribute, in the attributive consciousness. Being similar in their attributive consciousness. Mama sadharmyam upagataha. And the pramana for this is niranjanaha paramam samya upaiti. So niranjanaha means anjana is defect. When he is without any defect, mama sadharmya upaiti, he attains equal nature with me. So when he seeing similarity of all individual cells in their essential nature, Sarvasya Atmavastunaha Vidhuta Punya Papasya. That is, when they got rid of their Punya and Papa Rupa dosha, Swarupena Avasthitasya, and when they are established in their real true nature, Matsamyam Pashyan. In that state, they are similar to Paramatman. That is what a yogi realizes. So, all individual cells in their essential nature are similar with me when they have shaken off the virtues and sins, as told in the Shruti, being without any impurities, he attains similarity with me. Yaha sarvatra atmavastuni mam pashyati. He sees similarity, that is sarvam atmavastu cha mai pashyati. He sees similarity in all cells present everywhere with me and sees in me similarity with all cells. So when he realizes similarity with Paramatman, with his own self, he also sees similarity with Paramatman in all the cells. And all the cells are similar to Paramatman. Paramatman is similar to all the cells. That is realized. How is that possible? Is explained as Anyonya Samyat Anyatara Darshanena Anyataradhapi Idrusham iti Pashyati. Due to similarity existing mutually, when he sees one of them, he realizes that the other is also in the same way, it is also similar to this. Tasya swatma swarupam pashyataha. Swatma swarupam pashyataha. One who is seeing or realize the samatva, samadarshana state in his own nature. Swatma swarupam pashyataha. One is seeing or realizing his own self. Aham tat samyat na pranashyami. I will not be unperceivable due to being of similar nature. Na adarshanam upayami. Pranashyami is explained as adarshana. Na adarshanam upayami. That means he will always be seeing me. I will not become unperceivable to him. Mamapi mam pashyataha. For me also, seeing me, Matsamyat swatmanam matsamam avalokayan saha. Saha matsamam avalokayan. Swatmanam matsamam avalokayan. He sees himself as similar to me because matsamyat. Because of being similar and of the same nature as me, when the punya papa is all removed, he sees his own nature as similar to mine. When he is seeing like that, when I am seeing my nature, mamapi mam pashyataha, when I am seeing myself, sahana adarshanam upayati. Such a yogi who is seeing similarity with me does not go out of sight out of my sight. It will not be away from my sight. That is the meaning. So continuing with that special explanations from Tatparya Chandrika, in the previous shloka, it was taught that when the differences of the form of Deva, Manusya, etc., which are due to Prakriti Parinama, that is modifications of matter or Prakriti, are eliminated, the essential nature of the self, which is substantive consciousness, that is Jnana Dravya, that is the substance, that is substantive consciousness, Swarupa Jnana. It's a Jnana Dravya, being the same. The sadhaka would contemplate that all selves are similar in that aspect. In this shloka, contemplation of the state of Paramasamya with Paramatman, which is attained when the Jivatman gets rid of the defects of the form of Punya and Papa, which are the causes of differences, such as Deva, Manusya, etc., is taught. So why will an individual self be born as a Deva, why one is born as Manusya, etc.? That is due to their own differences in Punya Papa, that is Punya Papa Taratamya. And that is because of the karmas, and because of that one gets into different bodies, associated with different bodies. And there are modifications of Prakriti, the bodies. So in that, the essential nature of the individual self is Jnanakara. And the differences in the attributive consciousness makes them get associated with these different bodies, different births. When that defect is removed, in that state, they will be having Paramasamya with Paramatman. Paramam Samya Upaiti, it is told. So it's a more advanced state compared to the previous one. Tato Vipakadashapanno, it is told in the Bhashya. The meaning of Sadharmyam Upagataha is contemplating with his intellect. That is because he is still not liberated. Right now at this stage, when the yogi is yogi has attained Atma Sakshatkara in the Samadhi, he still has to do Bhakti Yoga, and then when the Bhakti Yoga comes to fruition, he will get rid of all the karma bandhas, and then he will see Paramatman. So it is still not that stage, but here what is told is Anusandhana, that is contemplating like that and realizing similarity in that state. So the Mundaka Shruti, Mundaka Upanishad says, Tada Vidwan Punyapape Vidhuya Niranjanaha Paramam Samyam Upayiti. Telling that about the similarity with Paramatman attained by the liberated soul. Punyapape Vidhuya Niranjanaha Paramam Samyam Upayiti. Without being any defects, he attains equality or similarity with Paramatman. That state is realized in his intellect during meditation on the Jivatman here. So the part of the shloka, Yomam Pashyati Sarvatra, is Anuvada. So this is valid as per the Shruti Pramana told here. The contemplation of that is ordained here. This is explained in Bhashya as Matsamyam Pashyanna Yaha Sarvatra Atmavastuni Mam Pashyati. But this part of the Bhashya is to be understood properly according to the context here. It may look as though it means a yogi sees Paramatman everywhere. Sarvatra Vastuni Mam Pashyati may look as though a yogi is seeing Paramatman everywhere, as the Supreme is all pervasive. He is Sarvavyapi and everything is supported by him. But such meaning is not to be taken in this context. That is not possible, because he has not yet done Paramatma Dhyana to realize Paramatman. What he is seeing only is the Jivatma Swarupa and Dharma Samya with Paramatman. It is not Paramatman himself that he is realizing here. So it is only similarity with Paramatman that is being realized here. So what is applicable is Samya Darshana. He sees similarity in nature with Paramatman and not Paramatman himself everywhere. So this is told as Paramatma Samya and not Sakshat Paramatman. Sarvam Atmavastu cha Mai Pashyati Anyonya Samyat. Anyatara darshanena anyatarapi idrisham iti pashyati. So a doubt may arise here. In the advanced state of meditation, which is of the form of contemplation on the nature of the self, that is, he is doing Jivatma Dhyana, Swarupa Anusandhana. One should not be seeing Paramatman or other selves or anything else. When he is contemplating on Jivatman, he should not see anything else, either Paramatman or other individual selves. So how is this explanation valid, is the doubt. That is Sarvam Atmostu cha Mayi Pashyati and things like that. So that is cleared as Anyonya Samyat Anyatara Darshanena Anyataradapi Idrisham iti Pashyati. So when one is seen, the other is also seen, because they are all similar. That is the realization that is being explained here. So the meaning of Tasya Swatma Swarupam Pashyata Aham Tat Samyat Na Pranashyami Na Adarshanam Upayami. The meaning of Pranashyami, Pranashyati, is as per the dhatu Nasha Adarshane, that is not being seen. Nasha is not being seen. In that meaning it is taken. Nasha Adarshane, the dhatu. Because the individual cells and the supreme cells are all eternal entities. So in one way, even in our Siddhanta, nothing is fully destroyed, Sarupataha, in that way. So like it is said, when the candle is burnt, nothing is lost. So when we don't see anything, but it's all available, it's all present in some other state. So avasthantara apatti. That is why, so Swarupataha there is no Nasha there, it is Adarshana, that way. So it is taken in that meaning, that because all the Jivatmas are Nitya Tattvas, eternal. Paramatman is also Nitya, Jivatmas are also Nityas. So it is Adarshana. There is no Nasha in the sense of destruction. So it means not being seen. And that will not happen, he says. Meaning the individual self will be able to realize the similarity in that state with Paramatman all the time. Mamapi mam pashyataha matsamyat swatmanam matsamam avalokayan saha na adarshanam upayati. Mamapi saha na adarshanam upayati. For me also, he will not go away from my side. The Lord, who has the quality of perceiving everything directly, Sarvajna, he also perceives the similarity in the essential nature. And so a meditator who is seeing this similarity, who has realized this similarity with Paramatman, will not be unseen by Paramatman as well. That is how the meaning is to be understood. So continuing further, Shloka 31. Sarvabhuta sthitam yomam bhajat yekattvama sthitaha sarvatha vartamanopi sa yogi mayi vartate. Tato vipakadasham aha. The state more advanced than the previous one is being told now. Vipakadasha, much more advanced or much more mature state. Sarvabhuta sthitam yomam bhajati yekattvama sthitaha sarvatha vartamanopi sayogi mayi vartate. Sarvabhuta sthitam mam yaha ekattvama sthitaha bhajate saha yogi sarvatha vartamanopi mayi vartate. That is the Anvaya. Sarvabhuta sthitam mam yaha ekattvama sthitaha bhajate. One who meditates on me, mam bhajate. One who meditates on me, reflecting on unity, ekattvama sthitaha, due to my being the inner controller of all beings. I am the Antaryami. Sayogi, such a meditator, sarvatha vartamanopi, though present, involved in all kinds of activities at all times, mayi vartate, will be established in me only. Knowing me as the inner controller of all beings, one who meditates reflecting that I am the one existing in every being, such a yogi, though he is involved in various activities, when he comes out of the state of meditation also, will be established in me only. So again we have to understand according to the context the meaning of this shloka, which is clear from the Bhashya. Yogadashayam sarvabhuta sthitam mam असंकुचित ज्ञानैकाकारतया एकत्वमास्थितः प्राकृत भेद परित्यागेन सदृशं सुदृढ़ं यो भजते स योगी युत्थान कालेपि यथा तथा वर्तमानः स्वात्मानं सर्वभूतानि च पश्यन् मयि वर्तते मामेव पश्यति स्वात्मनि सर्वभूतेषु च सर्वदा मत्साम्यमेव पश्यति इत्यर्थः। योगदशायां सर्वभूतस्थितं मां, during the state of meditation, yogadasha, when a yogi sees me, sarvabhutasthitham mam, yogi sees me who is existing as the inner controller of all sentient beings, asankuchita jnanaikaakarataya ekatvamasthitaha prakrita bheda parityagena. So due to the fact of my essential nature being of the form of consciousness which is uncontracted at any time, asankuchita jnana, so it is never contracted at any point of time. In that aspect, ekatvamasthitaha, sees me as one with him as being my prakara or mode. That ekatva is with the relation of prakara prakari. Prakrita bheda parityagena, getting rid of the differences in attributive consciousness arising due to contact with matter. The Veda is differences are coming due to association with matter, and in the Jivatman, the modification that happens is due to karma, is in the attributive consciousness, not in the essential nature. So when that is got rid of, then he sees ekatva with Paramatma, that is samya. Every individual self is Paramatma prakara. In that way, there is ekatva. And Paramatman only is existing everywhere because everything is his prakara. So he sees all jivatmas as Paramatma prakaras. Sudradham yo bhajate. One who worships me is steadfast in that state of meditation. Sayogi vitthana kalepi yatha tata vartamanaha. Such a yogi, when he has come out of the state of meditation, though involved in several activities in whatever ways, swatmanam sarvabhutani cha pashyan mayi vartate mameva pashyati. So perceiving his own self, swatmanam, sarvabhutani cha, and all other sentient beings, mayi vartate, he will be seeing me only, mameva pashyati. Swatmani sarvabhutesha sarvada mat samyameva pashyati. That is the meaning of mayi vartate. That is, Swatmani sarvabhuteshu cha sarvada mat samyameva pashyati. Meaning all the time he sees similarity in his own self and all other beings also with me. Mat samya. That he sees, what he sees is mat samyameva pashyati. He sees similarity with Paramatma. So the third state of maturity in meditation is told here. In previous shloka, the samya or similarity between jiva and Ishvara was told in the state of akarma vashyatva. The karmas of the form of punya and papa are destroyed. And the karmas of the form of nations, that is nations, avidya, are removed. Jiva's attributive consciousness will be uncontracted. In that state, both Jiva and Ishvara are similar. When a yogi contemplates on this kind of similarity between Jiva and Ishvara, in the next state of meditation, due to the effect of this samskara, which is said to be the purification of mind, the same will naturally continue without break, even when he gets up from meditation, yudhana kala. That aspect is told in this shloka. So what is told is, as sarvatha vartamanopi, indicates kala bheda, difference in time. So this is interpreted as yatha tata vartamanopi, which is not possible during the state of samadhi. So it is at times, so he sets apart a particular time during the day, niyata kala, where during which time he does meditation. After that he comes out of meditation and involved in various activities, worldly activities, and even because of the dhyana prakarsha, the realization during samadhi, this kind of a realization. Even when he comes out of meditation, he will always be thinking of that only. How is it possible to reflect on the ekatva with Paramatman? Yogadashayam sarvabhutasthitham mam asankuchita jnanaikakarataya ekatvamasthita. So that is unity with Paramatman, who is present in all beings. How can one see ekatva? When one contemplates that I am also part of all beings, and so I am also his mode only, Paramatma Prakara, that is possible. The individual self who is atomic in proportion, Sukshma, cannot be present in his essential nature in all beings as he can be present in one place only being atomic. So he is present in a particular place because he is very Sukshma, he is atomic in proportion, that is told. Valagra Shatabhagasya Shatada Kalpitasya Bhago Jivasya Vijnaya, that is told. So he is told to be 100th part of a tip of a nail or a hair, etc. That is told to be the size of Jivatman. So he cannot be present everywhere. So the unity is in the state when the attributive consciousness is uncontracted. Such a Anantyaya Kalpate, Shruti says. That is, that Anantya, which is told for Jivatman, is in his attributive consciousness. So in that state, he will be seeing, so when he realizes that he is going to attain in that state, he will be seeing himself in that way, and that is the Anusandhana told here. He has not attained that state yet here, as the karmas are still present, he is still in Jivatma Yoga. And he has to do Bhakti Yoga, etc. But what is taught here is contemplating in that way during yoga, contemplating about that state, where there is asankuchita jnane kakarataya ekatvamasthita, Paramatma samya he sees. That is prakrita bhega parityagena, giving up the idea of differences of the form of difference in attributive consciousness, which is seen due to association with matter, which happens due to karma. The ekatva told here is not rejecting Swarupa Bheda. Swarupa Bheda does exist among Jivatmas, but the differences are due to Jnana Taratamya, that is due to the Prakriti Sambandha, which has come due to again karma. When the karma is destroyed, all these differences do not exist, and in that state there is similarity with Paramatma. So another way ekatva can be explained is that all the cells are inseparably associated with Brahman. Apratak Siddha Sambandha between everything and all the individual cells and Paramatman. The Sambandha is Apratak Siddha, that is, they cannot be separated from Paramatman. And they cannot exist separately from him. That is the unity in that sense. Sudradham yo bhajate. The word asthitaha is explained thus, worships with steadfastness. The word bhajate indicates that realizing the nature of the self, the individual self, as similar to Paramatman, is also his worship. That's what we can understand from usage bhajate. Sayogi yuthana kalepi yatha tata vartamanaha. The word sarvatha vartamanopi means though he is involved a lot in worldly activities after getting up from meditation, even then he will be always continuing that thought. Swatmani sarvabhutani cha pashyan mayi vartate. Swatmanam sarvabhutani cha pashyan. The meaning of mayi vartate is not being established in Paramatman, but it is an act of the intellect, and so commented as mameva pashyati. That darshana, pashyati, is realizing that in the mind. Swatmani sarvabhutesha sarvada matsamyameva pashyati. How can Paramatma darshana be possible? Through Jivatma darshana is explained here as seeing similarity with Paramatman in his own self as well as in all embodied souls. That is what is explained here. The next shloka talks about the fourth stage, the highest state of Jivatma Sakshatkara. Tatopi Kashtham Aha. The state which is much more exalted than the previous one is being told here. Atmaupamyena sarvatra samam pashyati yo Arjuna sukham va iti va dukkham sa yogi paramo mataha. Atmaupamyena sarvatra sukham va iti va dukkham samam yaha pashyati saha yogi paramo mataha. Atmaupamyena, because all other selves are similar to oneself in respect of being of the nature of consciousness, jnana ekakara. Sarvatra sukham va iti va dukkham, joy or sorrow present in oneself as well as in all others. Samam yaha pashyati, one who treats equally with the understanding that it is not related to the Atman or self. Saha yogi, such a yogi, paramo mataha, is in my opinion superior to all. Swatmanascha anyeshancha atmanam asankuchita jnana ekakarataya aupamyena. Swatmani anyeshu cha sarvatra vartamanam putra janmadirupam sukham tan maranadirupam cha dukkham asambandha samyat samam yaha pashyati. Putra janma maranadi samam paraputra janma maranadi samam swaputra janma maranadikam yaha pashyati ityartha. Sayogi paramo mataha yogakashtham gato mataha. That is the Bhashya. Swatmanascha anyeshancha atmanam asankuchita jnanaikakarataya aupamyena. So for the reason that one's own self and the selves existing in all others are similar due to possessing the nature of uncontracted consciousness, asankuchita jnanaikakara. When there is no sankocha in their dharmabhuta jnana, in that aspect all are similar. Swatmani anyeshu cha sarvatra vartamanam putra janmadirupam sukham tan maranadirupam cha dukkham. The joys of the form of birth of a son and others, which are being present in self as well as others everywhere, and the sorrows of the form of death of a son, etc. Asambandha samyat samam yaha pashyati. So the similarity is one who sees them as same or similar due to not being related to self. Asambandha, samya. The samya is in being asambandha. They are all not related to the nature of the self. So in that way they are similar, meaning one who treats the birth or death of etc. of one's own son the same way as he treats the birth or death etc. of another person, son, etc. Sayogi paramo mataha yogakashtham gato mataha. Such a yogi has attained the highest state of maturity in meditation, in my opinion. So the most exalted state, sarvotkrishta dasha of meditation on the self is told here. While in this state it is possible for one to be, when the yogi is established in this state, it is possible for such a yogi to be unaffected by even the most powerful causes of joy or sorrow. This is the state of reflection when one loses the differences in joy and sorrow which comes due to differences in karma and jnana. So swatmanascha anyeshancha atmanam asankuchita jnanaikakarataya aupamyena. The word atmaupamyena is to be taken along with sarvatra and not as relating to pashyati. So the word samam is to be taken with pashyati. Samam pashyati. The word upama here is in the sense of equal or similar. All individual cells are having similarity in the aspect of being distinct from the body, as already told earlier. And they are asankuchita jnana ekakarataya upamyena. Sarvatra is applicable to atma upamyena as well as samam pashyati. The sukha dukkha samya told here, swatmani anyeshu cha sarvatra vartamanam putra janmadirupam sukham tanmaranadirupam cha dukkham asambandha samyat samam yaha pashyati. Paraputra janma maranadi samam saputra janma maranadikam yaha pashyati ityarthaha. So the sukha dukkha samya told here is not anvaya samya, but it is vyatireka samya. So it should not be understood with sambandha, but it should be understood with asambandha. Everyone is related to joys and sorrows, and so that is the similarity, that there is similarity in being related to joy and sorrow. That is, everybody gets affected by joy and sorrow. Is not the meaning here, but it is asambandha samya, the analogy of non-relation. Just as one is not related to the birth of a son, etc., of someone else, just as one is not related to someone else's son's birth, etc., the same way one is not related to one's own son's birth or death, etc. So the joys and sorrows arising out of those things, just like what have the joys and sorrows of someone else arising out of those things does not affect one, the joys and sorrows arising out of one's own son's birth or death, etc., also should not affect. It doesn't affect such a yogi. Sayogi paramo mataha. So such is yoga kashthangato mataha. This is the highest state of Jivatma yoga, meditation on the self. This is where the Jivatman realizes in the fourth state the asambandha samya, analogy of non-relation, it is told us. So that is, these are the four stages of Jivatma Sakshatkara explained in a very unique way by Bhashyakara. Continuing further, shlokas 33 and 34 are commented upon together. Arjuna uvacha yoyam yogastvaya proktaha samyena Madhusudana etasyaham napashyami chanchalatvat sthitim sthiram chanchalam himana krishna pramati balavat dridham tasyaham nigraham manye vayoriva sudushkaram. Madhusudana yaha ayam yogaha tvaya samyena proktaha etasya sthiram sthitim chanchalatvat na pashyami. Krishna manaha chanchalam hi balavat dridham pramati vayoriva tasya nigraham sudushkaram aham manye. Hey Madhusudana, ayam yaha ayam yogaha, this well-known prasiddha yoga, the form of meditation on the self, tvaya samyena proktaha, was told by you as being of the form of seeing similarity, samadarshana yoga, that was told by you, taught by you. Etasya sthiram sthitim chanchalatvat napashyami. I see as impossible of attainment steadily as the mind is fickle. Krishna, hey Krishna, manaha chanchalam hi, that the mind is fickle is well known. Balavat dridham pramati, it is powerful and strong and capable of causing disturbance. Vayoriva tasya nigraham sudushkaram aham manye. In my opinion, controlling such mind is extremely difficult, just like trying to control the wind, a powerful wind. The Bhashya is yaha ayam deva manushya bhedena jiveshwara bhedena cha atyanta bhinnataya etavantam kalam anubhuteshu sarveshu atmasu jnanaikaakarataya paraspara samyena akarmavashyataya ishvara samyena sarvatra samadarshana rupo yogaha tvaya proktaha etasya yogasya sthiram sthitim napashyami manaha manasaha chanchalatvat tatha hi anavarta abhyasta vishayeshu api swateva chanchalam purushena ekatra avasthapayitum ashakyam manaha purusham balat pramathya dridham anyatra charati tasya swabhyasta vishayeshu api chanchala swabhavasya manasaha tad viparitakaara atmani sthapayitum nigraham pratikula महावातस्य व्यजनादिना इव सुदुष्करम् अहं मन्ये. यः अयं देवमनुष्यादि भेदेन जीवेश्वर भेदेन च अत्यंत भिन्नतया एतावन्तं कालम् अनुभूतेषु सर्वेषु आत्मसु. So in all the cells who are thought of as existing in different forms due to differences such as Deva, Manusha, etc. and also due to differences between Jivatman and Paramatman, Jiveshwara Veda and Deva Manushya Veda. So because we see different forms in the body, Deva, Manusha, Pashu, Pakshi, Kita, etc., it was taught as they are very bhinna, they are very different. And also there is a lot of difference between Jiva and Ishvara. Atyanta bhinnateya, they are very, very different. Etavantam kalam anubhutesh sarveshu atmasu. Till now, that was how it was experienced. Jnanaikakarataya paraspara samyena akarmavashyateya ishvara samyena. So these two samya, similarity was explained by you. Perceiving similarity as they are all of the same form of pure consciousness in their essential nature. Though we see the differences in the bodies, in their essential nature they are all similar. And though we see differences in like this Deva, Manusha, etc., when they get rid of the karma, then their jnana, dharmuta jnana will be asankuchita, and in that aspect they are having samya with Ishvara also. The state of not being under the bondage of karma. They are equal to Paramatman, similar to Paramatman. Sarvatra Samadarshana Rupo Yoga Tvaya Prokta. That this yoga of the form of perceiving similarity everywhere, which was taught by you. Yedasya Yogasya Sthiram Sthitim Napashyami Manasa Chanchalatvata. I do not see how that state of such yoga can be steady as the mind is very fickle in nature. Tatahi anavarta abhyasta vishayeshwapi, even in respect of experience of senses, which the mind is very much used to doing without a break. Anavarta abhyasta. Anavarta means continuously all the time without a break. Abhyasta, repetitively experiencing. Vishayeshu, the experience with the senses. Even in those, swatayeva chanchalam, by nature it is fickle. Purushena ekatra avasthapayitum ashakyam manaha. It is not possible for a person to make it concentrate on one thing, as it is by very nature fickle. Purusham balat pramathya dridhamanyatra charati. So that mind disturbs the person by force and firmly takes away one's mind. It moves away from in another direction. Tasya swabhyasta vishayeshwapi chanchala subhavasya manasa. Even making tad viparita akara atmanisthapayitum. So even in respect of the sense experiences where it is very much used to and it has been doing repetitively for time immemorial, when it is difficult to control it, how can it be possible to control it and concentrate, to make it concentrate on something which is very different from that sense experience? That is that viparita akara atmanisthapayitum, which is very different from sense experiences. And there you have to make the mind concentrate on the Atman, controlling it that way. Nigraham pratikula gatehe mahavatasya vejanadina iva dushkaram ahammanye. Just like controlling a very powerful blizzard with a fan, with a small fan. How can one control a windstorm with a small fan? It is as difficult as that, is what I feel. Mano nigrahopayo vaktavyaha ityavipraya. That means you have to teach me the means to control the mind, is the gist. So we shall take up, that is the Bhashya for that, we shall take up little more explanations from Tatparya Chandrika of this shloka in the next class, as we have come to the end of this session. So continuing next shlokas in the next session also, we can say Sri Bhagavan Vacha Asamshayam Mahabaho Mano Durnigraham Chalam Abhyasena Kaunteya Vairagyena Chakrityate Asamyatatmana Yoga Dushprapa iti me mati Vashyatmana tu yatata Shakyo avaptum upayataha. Arjuna uvacha ayatihi shraddhayopeto yoga charitamanasaha prapya yoga samsiddhim kamgatim krishnagatim. So all these shlokas, the upaya for controlling the mind and the greatness of the yoga siddhi, they are all going to be taught later. We shall take up those shlokas for study in the next session. So with that, we have come to the end of this session, offering my pranamams to all the Bhagavatas in this Goshti. I shall leave the class, I shall conclude and leave the class open for question and answer. rAmAnuja.
Adiyen, Namaskaram Adiyen. Can you hear me?
So
Adiyen, see, thank you very much for this narration today. Adiyen, now from Balagopala Krishna. Adiyen have one question. Now, in the Para, Vyuha, Vibhava, Antaryami, in these four forms, in the Para and Vyuha forms, there are instances from Purana that both Manusya and Devas have a darshan of a Paramatma. Even in those instances, they were not found to be happy. They were still stricken with unhappiness. If that's the case, for the Manusya, who is striving to first realize the Antaryatmi, and even if he realizes the Antaryatmi and then realizes the Paramatma there, will he be still unhappy?
No, that state of realization is told to be sukham matyantikam. So it comes with continuous repetitive meditation, abhyasena, vairagyena. So it may take a long time, but when one realizes that state, it is supposed to be atyanta sukha. It is utmost bliss. Jivatma sakshatkara state is said to be atyanta sukha, though it is very less compared to Paramatma Sakshatkara, compared to the experience of the senses and in the Prakriti, Jivatma Sakshatkara stated to be very Atyanta Sukha. So, with respect to others who have we read about having realized, having seen Paramatman, etc., they have not really realized the nature of the selves, they have not got the proper Tattvajnana. With that, they have not experienced that. Momentarily, they might have experienced the bliss, but they still very soon come back and continue to experience the sorrows, etc. So they are not really having that continued state of bliss. So that is how it can be probably told. They are not in that state of meditation or realization.
Dhanyosmi, very clear, Adiye.
Yeah. So if there are no more questions, we shall conclude today's session. Thank you very much. rAmAnuja. Krishna Parabrahmane.